All right, so then I got to make sure really quick that my levels are back up to smoke here, as I like to say. So we're going to get that all straightened out for us. And so let's do this. This is for AA Batteries. Thank you so much for the donation that came in last night. I appreciate it after the session. And so this is for you, my friend. Native Construct, the Spark of the Archon. Here we go. All right. Sounds like a little Beverly Hills Cop opening there. That drummer or something. Wow, this is way out there, man.
We are also uninspired. It seems that we've all given up, content with hardly living life.
It's like between the Buried to Me and Les Claypool had a baby. Oh my gosh. So fusion right here. You know how I am about the bass.
My head is spinning with this one question. I have reached a dead end. There's not much more I can endure. Perhaps the only option I have is to drop and abandon all things.
Okay, I gotta stop. My God. What a track. I mean, you could probably see in the convulsions in my body movement what it's doing. And my little weird, you know, twitches that I have over this is because it's got so much abstract composition in it. And this is more theater of the mind. This is more for you to kind of like get really, yeah, this is an audiophile style piece of work where you're really listening for everything, and you have such a broad sense of music because there's a lot of twisted things that are going in here. We have the darkness and the heaviness. We've got complete fusion, slight jazz fusion of what we just heard in that turnaround coming up, what I just got through listening to. We got the meter jerk arounds and stuff that are just phenomenal. And this is something though that this is like what I would consider Michelin star hearing opportunity. You know, if you understand the Michelin star restaurant thing, it's just a lot of things happening and little bite-sized pieces, but each bite-sized piece is completely unto itself, but completely wonderful. Blast beat with strings. All right. It's beyond musical theater. And listen to this. We have these hybrid EDM style things happening with that choir back there. Jeez, come on. Now they've got some native Indian percussion there from India. Wow, weird. That ambient pad is supposed to set the street, but it's so... I can't even finish my sentence. The dissonance there, where they place the dissonance is unreal. Right there, like, oh man, that's so beautifully uncomfortable. I mean, I can't authentically break this down anything beyond the fact that I'm astonished at the complexity of what it is they decided to take on and put out. Reading your notes, double batteries, that these guys were at Berkeley, and this was a concept album while they were at Berkeley, and then after this album was done, it's like they went on to their own things and did their with their own lives and stuff like that. And personally, I can't see how anybody or any band, conceptually, whether in the abstract or not, could go beyond this. I mean, what is beyond this in composition? It's mind-numbing to sit here and say, okay, for our next album, you know what I mean? It's just amazing. How do you let us off the hook with that beautiful little fluffy, you know, resolved, beautiful major chord after all of that insanity? But the insanity is in the abstract. It is, you know, it's Van Gogh, Rembrandt, in its, you know, in its depth, in its different, you know, strokes used and everything. I'm only presenting it that way because in my mind, when I listen to music, things happen in my head. I see colors and stuff, and it all does fit together. But to me, it's taken the construct in my mind as epic musical theater. You know, that each one of these things has a specific life in it, in a specific, you know, 9-minute piece on theater, and definitely not easy listening. To me, definitely would not be something to say, hey, I'm just going to go to the beach, I'm going to go down the hill, I'm going to listen to this. This is the kind of listening where you want to get in your chair, as far as I'm concerned. You want to get in your chair, make sure you got your peanut butter, make sure you got your coffee, and you got everything ready, and you just know you're going for an experience. And that's what this was. You know, same kind of exuberance I have for what I just said goes for the composition, the musicianship, the choice about all the instrumentation that was used with some of the ethereal and digital stuff. The engineering, for me, the engineering is different than mastering, just so that you guys do know that. The engineering for me, I had a couple of issues with a couple of things, but that's just me being old farty, and they're very minute, if you would, to bring up. But there were a couple things where I'm like, not too sure. But like, who am I to stand in front of this freight train of creativity? I think at very least there was just a couple of things where I went, I don't know if but who cares, right? I'm just here eating peanut butter in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and these guys probably would have gone on to become monstrous, incredible musicians. At least I hope so. You know, life can do what life does, and you know, all of a sudden you're swinging a hammer instead of picking a string. You know, so. But yeah, this is definitely, that was an intense listen, man, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, next up, coming in from my Venmo. This would be are you here? Kerning City, guys. Okay. Hey, how are you, I think this is where where you step in. Yeah, hey, AA batteries, do me a favor. Give me a breather of a day or two if it's going to be the same kind of music. It's great, but my head right now is a sieve, in a good way. But it's almost like, you know, a track like that you have to take and digest and then walk away to enjoy it even more. So when you get back into it, you know, the next time around. But I really like your eclectic choice of music. Anyhow, so for 33, this is for you. Thank you very much. Slipping into my evening dono session late at night while I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, ding! And I go, why is my phone dinging so late at night? I'm in my early 60s. My phone should not ding unless it's a text from the family. That has a special ding. All right, so let's do this. Maple Story BGM. I don't know if that's the name of the publishing company. This is called Kerning City Bad Guys. All right. Sexy. that bass. It has just a little bit of Stevie Wonder's very superstitious kind of vibe to it. Love the old school engineering on this. This sounds, without a doubt, like it's not, you know, playing up against stems and doing overdubs, that, you know, everything is perfectly locked in, quantized. Very human vibe to this. What I mean by that is just, you know, people playing in a studio, not computers locking everything to the perfect rhythm and stuff like that. When I made that kind of callback to the Stevie Wonder, very superstitious, that whole little vibe there, is because even though that very superstitious is a little more faster than this, it does have that kind of don't. Of course, it doesn't have that, but it has that swing and sway that gets you into it. But it doesn't go too far out of the box to take it to too much of a way into kind of like a lo-fi jazz kind of vibe. So there's still the constant of like a pop style element to it, you know, so it's a little more accessible, so that in general, you know, those who are not maybe into jazz or fusion can still get a little bit of sprinkle of a jazz vibe, you know, with a very straight, you know, pretty more structured, straightforward rhythmic arrangement on it. But I love the organicness of the engineering on it. It's warmer, it's not so crisp, it's not overly tight. There's room for breathing that's happening at the top. It's not saturated. It sounds great. Had to mute my mic there so you didn't hear me hacking too much. I really love the lo-fi programming of the drums. Very simple, very subtle. Or if it's not lo-fi programming, if it's a drummer and they re-engineered it differently. That was great. That was such a laid-back, super funk track for me. And it, you know what it does for me in my head? It settles me. This track settled me. You know, and it has nothing to do with the track I heard beforehand, even though that was an intensely aggressive, abstract, mind-numbing, you know, purple level of artwork. This kind of took me and just put me right back into a nice little groove, because it was a nice little groove. So I was like, I'm settling into this. Okay, now I'm going. And I actually started feeling it. Physically, I started feeling this like ding, 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 and getting the little, you know, schwarmy head bob going. Schwarmy, warmy, marmy, darmy, deeper, and I like the laid back approach of the EP, you know, the electric piano. Like I said, it does sound like it was a drum program that was written. Once again, it could have been the drummer that they just took, you know, maybe 4 bars and then just set it as a sample, which means maybe 4 bars that was played, and they just said, well, let's just use this section. Let's trick it out, make it sound lo-fi, and then we'll copy and paste it. So always the chance that it's actually live played, but then it's manipulated in engineering later and set up to sound like a lo-fi sound. So, but yeah, that was really super cool. I really dug that one. Thank you so much for that, MM33. I just love this. I love when I do the Twitch thing, man. I never my Twitch stream is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're gonna get. Allah. Okay, so I'm caught up on my Venmo, and let me get now to my limo. Doc Doom, are you with me? Oh my God, you're gonna make me listen to Rammstein, the German band. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just haven't listened to a Rammstein forever. Okay, so this is called Mein Herz Brennt, M-E-H-U, I'm sorry, I have to, H-E-R-Z, Mein Herz Brennt Rammstein, there you go. Okay, so that must be it right here. Oh my goodness, it's a lot of listens, a lot of people like this. First of all, I want to thank you so much for your donation for my cup of coffee, and as I plow through my list here. The one thing about Rammstein, I've only played I think 1 or 2 on my Decomposer Lounge since I started the channel. I guess there's a lot of very unique history to the band as well. But if I recall, I'm probably going to get straightened out here. They do very powerful hybrid fusion of powerful electronic and metal composition with some very over-the-top vocal, like theatrical music theater style compositions. And even though, of course, I don't know what they're saying, the couple tracks I've heard in the past have been just ginormous, absolutely huge. But we're about to get a little face full again now of some Rammstein here. So once again, I want to thank you so much, Doc Doom, for your donation, your cup of coffee. And I just want to remind everybody, if you decide you want to drop in, even though donations are closed for today, and drop in a cup of coffee on Venmo or the Steam Labs, even while I'm off the channel and not here, it does get saved. I will make sure it gets on a list and it gets done in my next stream. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, so let's do this. This is for Doc Doom. This is Rammstein, Mein Herz Brennt. Let's do this. All right.
Etwas mitgebracht. Hab es aus meiner
Oh, I love that. The way the strings grew in, with like a lo-fi vibe.
Hab ich die Macht, die Augenlider zu erpressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht. Dämonengeister, schwarze
Nice dynamic. The dynamic change of going into this acoustic guitar is great.
kriechen aus dem Kellerschacht und werden unter euer
Little sequence in the back is nice.
Nun, liebe Kinder, geht fein
All right, obviously that's a massive tip of the hat to Kashmir and Zeppelin. Sorry, it's not a direct pull, obviously, but I think any of us who know Kashmir, it's like an embedded pattern and type of composition. Actually, it's been used many different times, many different iterations, many different genres, you know, but just that little pocket has that same energy. And obviously not the same thing, but that same energy, that same approach. What makes this really fantastic for me is the dynamics in which the band and whoever doing the composition and the creativeness on engineering, how they opened up with this very lo-fi kind of vibe, and these lo-fi strings kind of expanded itself and through automation went from lo-fi to organic, which was absolutely killer. You know, low range cellos that were going on and stuff. Then obviously when he came in with the People's Elbow, we got that hook with that da da dun da da dun da da dun da da dun da. So then we get past that, and now we're getting into as soon as it set us up, and it kind of like opened up with the hook first. We went into that first verse, and I love the transition from all that ballsiness just into this very intimate acoustic guitar. It was pulled back in the mix, you know, because we just got flooded in the head, you know, in the headsets with, you know, these bombing guitar parts and stuff. And then, which was nice too, because the acoustic guitar was very complementary to what the vocalist was performing and how it was performing. And then there was a little bit of a sequence, a percussive sequencer going in the back. I couldn't tell if it was an EDM style or, you know, module style sequence going on back there. And then it started to grow and stuff. And then gets us all punched up again into this hook. This video though is creepy. You hear the little percussive sequence?
Sie warten, bis der Mond erwacht und drücken sie in meine kalten Venen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt Weihnacht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt.
Dark and clandestine kind of key change there. Love that.
Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht, die Augenlider zu erpressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt.
You kind of knew that was coming.
Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt.
There's that sequence in the back.
Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt.
A hell of an intense video, that's for sure. Real ghostly ending with that piano. What a banging track, man. The pre-chorus also on this track was a great build from having these really quiet, very dark, macabre verses, because the verses were kind of left wide open for the vocalist, you know, in the performance and how the vocalist is performing. I kind of said that already. But kind of wide open, right? They had the acoustic, a little bit of that arpeggiated rhythm section or that rhythm loop going on in the back. And then the pre-chorus was a lot more musical. and lifting and powerful in a very musical theater kind of, heavy metal musical style kind of vibe. And then, and you see over that, actually the vocal performance is just kind of in the pocket, straightforward, a little homogenous in the sense that there isn't any flex in any melody, because there's his voice and his performance is powerful, but there's no melodic flex, because the truth be told is that even myself, as I don't speak any German, I do not have a melody to hook myself into on this track, but I definitely am hooked into and was waiting for every time that percussive dun 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 dun. And what was brilliant about this in the production aspect, in the songwriting composition skills, if you would, get the song done within X amount of minutes, is the fact that they repeated that hook, I think, total of 5 times, because they opened up with it. We had 3 times into it, and then they did that break where it was like bring us all right back down into the string arrangement, let us kind of glide again and take a breather, and then, give us the people's elbow again on that powerful, a riff that was already established. And then the video was nuts. That's just, since I don't know what they're saying, I can only say that just the video was harsh. It must have been harsh storyline. But very musical theater, very rock opera, metal opera style composition. And I loved how they just kind of dragged us out on the piano a little bit at the end, because I didn't recall hearing any piano throughout the composition until the very end, which makes it to me very kind of metal operatic kind of vibe. But yeah, that was killer, Doc Doom. Thank you so much, man. Rammstein for the win, without a doubt. Excuse me. So, yeah, super cool beans. All right, well, let's keep going now. Who's next up? Oh, my chest. Excuse me. Freaking guys, I'm choking on it right now. Having a hard time. Stand by. Gotta drink me some water. Excuse me. I won't die on you now. Later, but not now. What's a good burp without a, All right. So, next up, Nanton, here we go again, my friend. More from you. We have Yoku, Taidua, and the Village. Yoku. Whoop, I didn't spell that right, did I? Yeah. Yoku, Taidua, and the Village. People. No, that's not, I was kidding. It was just in case they did something. Now for something completely different. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I'm sure this is going to be, just by the looks of it, something a little more lighthearted. But then again, maybe not. Last time I thought it was going to be nice and lighthearted because of the thumbnail. What was it? Pink Man or something like that, or Pinkin or something like that. And it was like that metal video that was a video game, but was like not matching what the thumbnail was. What was that, guys? Pinkin? Pikman? Pickaxe? I don't know. Either way, here's Yoku, Taidua, and the Village. Let's do this. Pikmin 4, that's what it was. Oh, I love this.
Yoku
little trombone drunkiness there. Okay, I wanted to stop this really quick. Yes, of course, I love this track. There is a unique blend of a Caribbean vibe, and I think that high note plucking the melody, I think maybe perhaps that was to be an ukulele or something like that. So for me living here, and we have a style of music out here in Hawaii that, for better or for worse, some people call it Jawaiian, which is a blend of Hawaiian musicianship and composition by virtue of melodic ukulele guitar playing and stuff like that, blended with kind of a reggae kind of vibe in its percussive nature. Sounds very reggae and stuff. So because I have a little bit more exposure to that, and I've had my whole life, I mean, there were even radio stations dedicated to that out here. Listening to this, I kind of felt like, oh, this could be one of a number of local kind of jams that I might hear with a local band and stuff like that, except it's a little more lighthearted, a little bit more light, structured in the kind of instruments that are being used. And the second we start hearing marimbas or steel drums or xylophones and stuff like that, that's when now we start to really kind of have this nice little cross blend. But for the video game, this looks like this is this an ant that's carrying a package or something like that? So, hey, Dr. Quacksilver, how's it? Oh, it's a diner. A dung beetle, all right. Sneaking in the little outer wilds there. Little hidden organ back there. I love that with the harmonica. God, this is so fun. Little shaker. You're gonna faint on me, are you? This was a great track. And I also, now somebody had mentioned that this was a composer from a Star Wars Republic Commando. And you know, let's, which I don't know. I don't know. I've never watched that movie, or if it's a video game or whatever it is. The unique thing about this is I loved, after I stopped my commentary and we moved forward, the melody, as it changed, it also changed, you know, what instrument was being assigned the melody. And it took us through this little journey of really fun single note instrument, like the flute, the harmonica. Well, no, you can play multiple notes with the harmonica. But I just think each one of those little drops were really super fun and intimate. I know nothing about this. I guess this is a game. And yes, it's a video game, so I don't know what the journey is like. I guess this is a dung beetle. It looks a little more anty to me, but I don't know. I'm not an insect specialist. I don't know what you call them. But apparently a dung beetle that delivers mail. So I'm assuming that this happy dung beetle is happily bouncing around and rolling out shit. No, I'm kidding. And dropping off mail or rolling out others people's mail. I don't know. Oh, it does. It rolls. Okay, fine. That was kind of close. Yeah, no, it totally does. It does, Shadow. It totally has that kids song vibe, like the stuff that I played last week. All the kids stuff that I wrote, you know, for all those things that I played you guys. That same kind of a thing. Once again, no, that's circling back to that kind of composition where, as soon as you have the steel drums or marimbas doing, you know, that's these like 64ths or natural, you know, or in 30 seconds and stuff. But once you have that, then that's indicative of mallet instruments. That might be the steel drum or anything of that nature. So, but it was a very, very good blend of everything that was laid back and tropical and had the reggae vibe and stuff. And of course, the number one essence of that for me is the bass line. You know, the bass on from my small window of exposure, and from what I know about that reggae style or that Caribbean style, the bass never comes in on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, you know, so the bass speaks very loudly to participating in that vibe, you know, by having this kind of accented rhythm player. It's in the same meter and everything, it's just accented differently, so it gives you a nice little bounce there. But a very super playful track. Thanks, Nanton. Yes, that was very different than the last track. Jack Zara, Jack Zira. Here we go. Excuse me. So here we go. This is, hey buddy, how are you? Let's see. I want you to do another one of my favorite soundtracks, game soundtracks. Okay, Darkest Dungeon 2 main theme. All right, you guys know of this one? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it looks like this was fairly recent. Is this what kind of a game is this? Darkest Dungeon. Is it one of those Dungeon and Dragon things, or is this kind of a hardcore, kind of like Elden Ring and kind of thing like that? Dark Dungeon music. What is that? Well, Turnip is telling me this is going to be completely different. Well, here we go. Either way you look at it, which one am I doing? The first one? Okay, Jack Zero, let's do this. Thank you so much for your cup of coffee and get to sit here and share this with you. So it's a very challenging turn-based game. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right. Great placement of that choir back there in the mix. Haunting, but you can hear it, yeah. A weird little resolve there. very quest oriented in its composition, like on the quest. It is, I guess this is the main theme, so it's the opening theme. So I don't know if this is kind of like where apparently you're starting the game or being introduced to the game, maybe all of the options and stuff. But this has a very quest vibe to it. We're on this quest where we're putting our heads down and we're getting into the wind, you know, we're going into headwinds and stuff. And it starts off with this kind of insidious little pulsing that's happening. It's light, but it's there. I love the opening where the choir was placed in the mix, where there's obviously, you can hear that there's choir, but it wasn't an over the top, you know, shove up front. And that just gave me the, ugh, that felt really creepy in a super cool kind of way. Now we blow up a little bit into, I think it was the second chord change there. Now we got really bolder and fatter and stuff. And so this must be like another kind of heavier, darker step in the composition, you know, if it's a theme in something else that happens in front of you. At least that's what it seems like to me. Oh, this is his channel. Okay. Funny the way that they ended that track like that, because you can hear a little bit. The one thing I did not detect until that little fade out, they did have a guitar line in there, but there's a lot of sizzle. Once the power came in the track, there was a little bit more of a sizzle in the mix that kind of gave the higher range a little bit of an edginess to it. So I couldn't tell if it was more of the brasher sound of the string arrangements, you know, with a little bit of a higher EQ. But apparently it sounded like there was an electric guitar that was following the string arrangements. Sounded like it. And also, it sounded like after my last stop, the rest of it now is a continuous build to get bolder and bolder and bolder and get ready, and it's game on. Let's start going. You know, calling in all the troops from all the flanks, and let's kind of move forward, kind of like an Imua kind of thing. And because there was always this very pensive marching that I heard at the bottom, which once again became apparent when the mix kind of fell out the way it did, which I thought was cool. I was just wondering what might be a fly on the wall when that decision was made and the why, if that has something to do with the video game. But apparently this is Stuart Chatwood's channel, so that's Mr. Stuart Chatwood there. Great track, great emotion, great for a theme, great to get your blood going. You know, it was one of those kind of tracks there. So thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that, Jack Zeria. Excuse me. And so I've got, let me see, what do I got here now? Oh, look, funny I mentioned it. Jakester is going to come on back now, and he's giving me another Pikmin. Okay, title theme, Pikmin 4 title theme. Let's see, pick or title theme. All right. So you see now, I don't know what to expect because the last Pikmin thingy I did, I was thinking, okay, nice, pretty thumbnail, and then I got the people's elbow with the heavy metal vibe. So, so we're off to do this. This is Pikmin 4, the title theme. Thank you very much for your cup of coffee, bro. All right. Oh, the dissonance. God, this is so nice. Oh. So nice. Is there a light pad back there? I love that rhythm pattern, that 3/4 waltz kind of vibe. Is that it? Oh, bummer. I was waiting for something to pop off on that, man, and it didn't. But still, geez, what a stark difference between the Pikmin we listened to yesterday, that metal, full-out grindy track, to this. What a beautiful opening. But there were those couple of times where there's dissonance in the melody that the composer pops in there that made you kind of go, something like that. I don't know. That's what it made me do. Inside, made me kind of go. But I love the setup of that 1, 2, 3, 1, you know, the little waltz. And it's a beautiful little arpeggiation or pattern that he's playing in the middle, you know, with the clustered notes, you know, with the seconds and the fourths, I think. I can't remember now. And then the melody up on top. I was a little sus for a second about what left hand, that was going here, and right hand. So no, I think that could have been done too, you know, as a single individual player or composition that a single piano player could play. But what a great, unexpected pleasure to hit that one, man. That was great. I loved that. That was such a great little, that was a special track, Jake, sir. I really dug that. It really set me down. It made me go, ah. I got two more. I got Park Pal and DJ Tambor. And and then after that, I do have to go. I'm losing my voice. It's starting to actually, my throat's getting a little savaged. Park a Pal, are you here with us still? Hope you are. If not, of course, this is recorded. We'll go on the channel so you can catch it. Did I lose yours, Kairu? What are you talking about? I don't recall. Did I lose? Did I lose one? I can't tell. Streamed with last night. Okay, I'll look for it. So let me get past these two really quick and see where I got it. Parkapal, hi, you're with us. All right, super cool beans. Okay, so this one is called, first of all, thank you for the cup of coffee. Thanks for hanging out here on the stream. And this one is called Stellaris, Cradle of the Galaxy. All right. This is an OST, Cradle of the Galaxy. Is this a video game? Parkapal? It looks really super cool. It looks kind of spacey. It is a video game. Okay. All right, well, let's do this. I want to thank you very much for coming by. And for the little dono, the cup of coffee always means something. It's a space strategy. When you guys say space game or space strategy, is that like Outer Wilds? Would that be considered the same thing? Or is this more like, what's the other one? Just the latest one, that Starfield? Is that, that's puzzle solving. I see. Age of Empires, okay. Neither, it's not like neither. Okay, I'll just stop there. Since I don't have any experience in playing the games, I'm just kind of flinging it out there. And you guys are the experts at it. But let's do that. This is Stellaris, Utopia, OST, Cradle of the Galaxy. All right. A lot of breathing going on in the composition here. You know, the thing is about these compositions, and unless there's battle involved, there's an association with this type of composition through many composers. I saw Doc Doom was saying a little John Williams, you know, Jurassic Park kind of vibes and stuff like that. And usually, in my experience, when I've written pieces like this, it's because it is the grandioseness, the ginormous, if you would, of space and time. Doesn't necessarily have to mean outer space. It could be the same thing, like even in a movie like The Perfect Storm with Mark Wahlberg and stuff. There are certain scenes where the sun breaks out after the hurricane takes a breather, and you have these long breathing moments in composition that relays the essence of very large space. And a lot of times what you hear in this is nothing over eighth notes in the composition. You know, so there's eighth notes, quarter notes, whole notes, and half notes in here. And some of them are tied across. For those of you who are composers, you know what I'm talking about. But everything is long and breathing, da, 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 da. And then you might have the occasional, da, 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 ba, da, da. But it's always this come up and breathe and bring and then let it tail off. Because the essence that you want to get across in a piece of work like this is drifting and open space and the sensation of, you know, everything out there that's just much wider than we can imagine. So we can listen to this and say, this sounds like a John Williams, it sounds like a this, it sounds like a this, it sounds like a this, because it almost is that kind of prescribed delivery that a composer gives when someone says, well, the scene is the Earth spinning, and then the moon comes from behind as a ship slowly is drifting towards its mission, and it's, you know, and unless it has a particular, but that ship is drifting towards its mission and is about to have a battle, then you're going to start hearing a different kind of energy to it. But that's my thing. Okay, now we got some 16ths there. So this must be a build-up to something, obviously, right? Nice. So, you know, this piece, because I don't know where it lands in production, in its OST. You know, my first stop was about the long notes and the breathiness of it. Then all of a sudden we got very powerful, and we got very mission oriented. Didn't sound battle oriented, but it sounded mission oriented. And as I was thinking, and I think somebody had typed in that possibly this was a top part where the agitation of the music, where we had the 16ths now of something of building, like maybe it's a, you know, it's a cut to another establishing shot of maybe people building things, or you know, a hustle bustle of something that's going on. Didn't have, you know, war or darkness in it, but it definitely seemed like maybe coming over the horizon kind of a vibe. And then once the horizon opens up, it's a bustling, hustling, you know, I don't know, Utopia, if that's what this is about. And it was being built up or something. So there was a lot of that action that was like, we're building this and we're doing this, and this is where that's the sensation I got from it on the composition. Love writing pieces like this. This takes an extraordinary amount of patience these kind of compositions. And as mellow as they may seem, if they just are very whimsical a little bit at the beginning, and they might be hovering within the same 2 or 3 chord structures per se, you have to be really patient with stuff like this. Otherwise, you could step it out of it just with one wrong arrangement. You can shift it unintentionally. And if you as a composer, sometimes you fall in love with a little arrangement, it feels great to you, but to the dev or the director or something, that can make it go, oh, now I feel a little more anxiety than I want to. But this was a super great track, and thank you so much for that part, pal. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you do have to be really patient to enjoy the game too, I can imagine. But I'm glad you suggested it to me, Park Pal. I really enjoyed that. I was lost in my head too, looking at this image and constructing images like I do in my head when I listen to music. It was a great listen, so I appreciate it. But hey, Patty Cakes, how are you? And Hurricane Gregor, I don't think I said hi to you either. How you guys doing? Okay, DJ Tambor, and then I have to look for Kairu. There's one, I guess, lurking somewhere in the back that I did not see. So, DJ Tambor, are you here with me? Excuse me. Oh, there you are. You're just right there in front of me, and I just bleh. The Wrath of Perun. The Wrath of Purina? Perun. Perun? What is that? Ooh, this looks gnarly. Like I'm in for some full-on goth Nordic mastery. First one? Okay. Let's do this. CD. Oh, is this a game? Oh, it says soundtrack, but I don't. Is this a game, or is because it says here that it's also available on CD Baby? So I don't know what the. Oh, it is a game. Okay, all right, DJ. Mr. DJ Tambor, thank you so much for your generous cup of coffee. It's a strategy game. All right, let's do this, everybody. All right. All right, right from the beginning, let's go. Dark, heavy, Nordic, Celtic vibes, very Viking-esque. But I love the fact that they're using single instrumentations to really get through to us what the melodies are. The single kind of mandolin sounding instrument, I don't think it's a mandolin, or the other instruments that I'm hearing. So it's not massive arrangements of sections holding these melodies. These are single instruments that are pushed up in the mix, which adds a very unique kind of tension to it. You got these bombing, syndrums or cinematic drums, or storm drums. Composers we know as storm drums as well, establishing this pulse and let's go get it, and we're growing for it. And also, the drone in the background seems to be every bar, in the background and stuff, and I can't pin that instrument. So it's like they haven't gone balls to the walls with any major orchestration, but we're only a third of the way through it. But I love the way everything is set up, in that Nordic, Viking, Celtic kind of. I mean, I know those are all very different cultures, but it has that meshed vibe. Yes, they are. Flying snipers. what a trip. The cello's crushing it right there. If that's what it is. I mean, it could be another stringed instrument. You guys heard that, right? Was that some of the kind of the throat singing going on back there as well with the mouth harp? So I love that. I love the fact these are isolated instruments, one at a time, that are going off and shoved up in the mix. But did you guys? Is it a call? There's a couple style. I know one is called Tuvan throat singing, and then there's other ones that are from Mongolia throat singing as well. I don't know if they're one and the same. I'm not that educated. I'm pretty ignorant about that, but it sounded great. I like that turnaround. There was something big and heavy there. That was great. That was a great listen. The thing, I don't know where in the game this is, but it has to be in something that is a constant plow forward. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 step forward, because it's very, headwind, into the headwind kind of battle, it sounded like for me. But the fact that they were like, I'm going to say this for the 3rd time on this track, that each one of these instruments had a life unto itself, and it was not a large performance of these melodies. One little thing there, not the whole string section, not everything. Same thing with the cellos. Just one cello that was doing it. Sounded like a cello that was doing it. Same thing with the mouth harp. Same thing with the Tuvan vocals. Same thing with the what sounded like a mandolin. Outside of this, larger kind of, the components of the drums, which leads me to believe that each one of those single independent lines might be a storyline of a small pack of warriors trying to do things, opposed to maybe like a massive, move of a giant, amount of warriors. Maybe it's like a clutch of like a dozen that are trying to do things. But that's just the imaging that I get from listening to it. Or if a director or a dev would have said something to me going, well, it's very powerful, it's moving forward, but there's only 6 of them left and all that, and okay, it might be something along these lines. But this was great. Frick, I love that. This was a great listen, DJ. No way, did I get it? Is that it? Get lucky at it. Every now and then I do get lucky when I do those descriptions, but it's only because just whatever little experience I have in trying to A/B, that every now and then I do get lucky, and I guess I nailed it. So, but it was a great listen, and you could tell I listened, guys. You know that, right? I'm really getting into it. Especially, I realized at one point I was like doing this, like 412 toothpicks on the ground. No, 412 toothpicks on the ground. There's 412 Wapner's on at 5. Once I started getting into that bob, So, thank you, DJ Tambor. I really appreciate that. Kairu, I found it. Is this the Xenoblade 2? That I missed? Okay, great. Okay, so this is the last one. This is Xenoblade 2 from Kairu. He came in last night at 11 o'clock last night? You dropped this? What are you doing up that late? Or is it morning for you? I don't know where you are in the world. So this is Xenoblade 2 Fonsett Village Day. Let me see. spelled that wrong, didn't I? So here it is. Xenoblade. Is it this first one here? All right, well, if I miss that one, we'll do that later, Kairu. But I'll definitely make good. The first one should do. All right, guys, this is from Kairu, our long-standing guest here in our Twitch sessions, and fun for fodder, always dropping really fun comments on there to keep us all on our toes and to join in with the whole experience that we have here on the channel. So this is for you, my friend. Gramps Fonsett Village from Xenoblade, I'm pronouncing that right, Chronicles 2. Let's do this. All right. Ah, this is a nice piece. I love the alternating guitars here, left and right are beautiful. Nice strings. Great string arrangements, the counter arrangements on there melodically is beautiful, the harmonies. Let's get those soft choirs in there. Nice bass line too, did you hear that? Are you hearing the bass on this? It's so cool. Love how the flute is in unison almost with that harp. The harp and the flute are the lead and the melody on this. This is that part of the arrangement which we bring everybody in for the kumbaya. Everybody. String, harp, low voices carrying that same melody all the way through. I love that richness. And the bass, come on! This is a great track to do a little acoustic jam to, that's for sure. Wow, what a great Kairu! Thank you. In its weirdest way that I missed it, having to end my stream on this was fantastic. I loved every bit of that. I was like, oh my god, I go nappy time, go make some tea. What am I having for dinner tonight? Oh yeah, I'm thawing out a chicken breast. I'm gonna take out my Foreman grill and work on that. There was, when I listen to things in layers, I just sometimes will focus on certain sections, especially when I feel a pattern has already started to kind of repeat itself. And I just couldn't help but diving back in and listen to those subtle bass lines. But the bass lines came in and out, yeah? So when you had the strings and the choir and you had the guitars and everybody in there to fill out the bottom end of it, you had the bass that was going on. Then once it would separate out and you just have the two guitars and the harp and the flute instrument, which was almost 90% in unison, like carrying the melody, where the harp didn't, double up on the melody, where the dynamics that the flute was going, the trills or the little, the little dynamics at the end of a note. I mean, you could do that on a harp, but it wouldn't serve its purpose. You let the flute live the way it does, and the harp was just keeping this really nice, super sweet pattern. And that's what this was. It was like a really super sweet track, in the sense that I don't know what's going on in the game, but it seems like I don't know, a whimsical run in a field of daisies or something like that, with friends, or it's just been a great day, or no one got hurt today. Let's, count the wins and let's enjoy the day and whatever. So it definitely had that vibe. I don't know if that's what it was in the game, but the composition was that to me in the theater of the mind. Plus, I'm looking at this thumbnail, it looks very happy and non-combative and stuff, even though that's a weird little thing that the tree's growing from, like some kind of petrified monster at some point. But, it's a peaceful village, of course. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay. No, definitely not for Ryan. But I mean, I've never played Xenoblade, so I don't know what the rest of the intensity is of the OST. But I have listened to some other Xenoblade tracks, and I don't recall it being this whimsical. So, this, my favorite saying. I love this. It was the best. It was a great way to end my stream. And I can't tell you once. I always do. I always tell you. I say I can't tell you, but I always do anyhow. How much I appreciate what it is that we do here together. Because what it does is just keep stoking me as a composer to go, oh my God, I want to write again. I want to write again, because I listen to this going, oh my gosh, I forgot how fun that was, or that sounded so fun, because it ends up in the rust bucket of my creative, section of my brain here. So,